Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the chambers. You're once again in the presence of the council. As always, I am residing, Judge Volio, and I am joined by the other two council members, Judge Ewok and Judge Junky. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
And as always, and as always, we are here to talk all things gaming. So let's start it off, as always, as we do here, with the news. Judge Ewok, what have you before you?
Well, it's massive news, but Skyrim has been released yet again.
I thought you said you had some good news. I get it. You go down for it and then build up.
You've got to build into this a little bit, you know what I mean? But yeah, once again, Skyrim has been released now on next-gen consoles, and apparently includes fishing. So
I'm glad that came correctly.
Well, so
fishing, yeah.
Fishing, yeah.
There's a H in there.
Yeah, there's a H in there, definitely, yeah. Now includes fishing, yeah. So apparently you can get it for $20 or probably like the 17, 18 quid. I'm not sure the exact amount. If you already own the special edition on current gen. But if not, you've got to fork out another $50 or 40 quid, whatever it is over here. So, yeah, I don't know what else they can bring it out on. I can already play it on my Alexa.
What about Etch-a-Sketch?
I've played that edition.
No.
Can't get off the cart.
Game Gear.
Sorry, guys. I'm just playing Skyrim on my HoloLens.
You're finally awake.
It's quite enough of that.
Yeah, I don't know how much more they're going to flog that game. Don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic game. It's a brilliant game. I loved it when I played it 30 years ago.
10 years ago. Right? It's his birthday.
I know.
It just feels like 30 years.
Exactly, yeah. It feels like it's been around for my whole gaming life.
Well, I've played it on the Alexa. Does that count?
Yeah, me too.
I played it on the Alexa. It's terrible. Nothing's good on the Alexa. Those games on the Alexa are just awful.
I know. It is ridiculous.
That's the way it's going.
Well, talking about going back in the past and, reincarnating things, I see Rockstar have been at it again, though.
Yes.
So we got GTA coming out on all consoles now with the remasters, and I'm gonna be a bit critical here. I'm not a big fan of how it looks. I've seen modders do a much better job. So this looks like a quick cash grab from Rockstar. And
yeah, I'm totally with you on that one, Junky. Obviously, I know a lot of the stuff we've seen on the likes of YouTube and stuff like that is PC based. But when you've seen what they can do with the Unreal Engine and the the HDR and the lighting graphics, you're expecting big things.
Yeah.
And then what we got was like when you finally got to play a 360 after playing a PS2 for so long, it was like, oh, this is shiny, but this is going to get really outdated really quick.
I mean, there's no excuse really, because if modders can do such good things, bring them on board. It's not like they haven't got the money. It's not as if the modders, they've obviously got passion for it. It's not as if they wouldn't go. I mean, CD Projekt Red just done the exact same thing. They brought on prolific Cyberpunk and Witcher modders to do levels. Even Skyrim took on the lead designer of, I think it was Fallout London. They brought them on for the Fallout team. So it can be done. It's well within parameters. That's why they haven't done it.
Didn't Rockstar actually send a cease and I may be wrong on this, but I remember reading about them sending a cease and desist to modders who were modding Vice City. Or who were making an incredible version of Vice City. I may be wrong. I mean, correct me if anyone's listening who knows a bit more, but why not? Like as Junky says, why not say, "Hey guys, you're doing a fantastic job. Come over."
On that one, very quickly. Then, obviously, you can catch our social scrolling on the bottom down below there somewhere. If you're on the video option, obviously, we are on Spotify as well, so there is an audio option you'll be able to listen to us on. If you are, thank you. But my question to you guys out there watching and listening to this podcast is: what games would you like to have seen modded? And then would you have expected the developers to have taken those modders on if it was good enough? I mean, Junky's just said there, the examples are, You've seen it before. Bethesda have taken on some of the modded designers. I've seen it very much like Ewok, where, and I'll tell you, normally it's Nintendo normally to jump all over this sort of thing. Like, especially when you get Zelda modders who, like, the Ocarina of Time remakes in the Unreal Engine 5 and stuff, and you're like, my God, that would be amazing to come out. And then the next minute, it's gone, lost forever, because Nintendo swept it under the carpet.
I mean, the thing that frustrates me about Nintendo with this kind of thing is, like, they won't even bring, like, at least with GTA, they have improved it. It looks smoother, it looks better. They have remastered it. Whereas, like, you only have to look at the Mario Anniversary Collection, and it was just a straight port from the N64 versions or the GameCube versions. And it's just like, it's just a blatant cash grab, and it's something that's, like, really starting to do my head in about Nintendo. And the only reason they get away with it is because they are Nintendo. That's bottom line. But if you're not going to put the effort in, then let someone else do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, totally agree, man. Totally agree.
I'm not going to find an argument here.
No. And at the end of the day, I think we've said it before, but if you're coming out to mod something, that means you've got a passion about it. It means you actually care about the project. I'm pretty sure there are games that have been discontinued, swept under the carpet, that if modders had been allowed to carry on doing what they were doing, we'd have probably had a lot of longevity out of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But hey ho. Anyway, what else we got on the R list there, Ewok?
So Elden Ring, big one, massive one. Elden Ring, the closed tests are out, and great news if you got in. Unfortunate news for Junky. He didn't get in.
Beta.
But
I pleaded and begged from Software, and it all just fell on deaf ears. You know, I've only completed every single From Software game in the Souls series, not Sekiro, because I'm terrible at that. It pains me.
Well, if you've got a spare $500 lying around, maybe you could pick up a Scalpers closed test beta key.
Oh, you're messing.
Nope, they are being sold for sums of up to $500.
Ouch! Yeah, I'll take that 100 cord and a beta key while I'm at it.
Scalpers again.
Yeah.
We've talked about this earlier on. The only way I can see them getting around doing it is if they're selling a fake account. It can't be that they're selling the actual beta code itself, because surely when you sign up, they must have some sort of registration.
Yeah, but we've seen this sort of thing happen before. I mean, you've only got to look as far as the FIFA Ultimate Team, where people were selling accounts with certain players and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, you know, there is always going to be exploits to it, but it's the fact that there are people sad enough to want to go and do this and absolutely ruin it for everyone. And then at the same time, that people are
buy it.
Desperate enough to want to buy it as well, yeah.
When you think about it... Sorry, go on, Dad.
I was just going to say, because it's like the Halo closed network test, where you're not even getting a full weekend. You're getting 3 segments of, like, a few hour slots. So, and if the servers go down for whatever reason, like, you might not even get that.
But well, like, we know $500, you know, $500, it's a Series X.
Yeah, and, well, that leads nicely onto the other thing as well. Obviously, hardware. There's a shortage of that as well. Seems to be a shortage of everything these days as well. So not only have you now got people trying to pinch a penny for beta codes, you've got people trying to pinch pennies for hardware as well.
Yeah, so the news came through today that Sony have revised their console sort of allotments for next year, and it's going to be a lot less than what they originally planned. Again, the silicon shortage comes to bite people in the backside. And again, if we're going to segue onto another thing, the Steam Deck has also been delayed for the exact same reason. So I've got a few friends. I've got an email this week.
Notepad out, boys.
A few of my friends have pre-ordered.
What have we got? We got Homeland from it's gone now. Stream Deck, that's on the can't have that on the delayed list as well. PlayStations, not here. Sorry, Sean.
Yeah, so they've revised their number, haven't they? PlayStation from 16 million by the end of next year to 15 million. It's a whole from 16 million units at the end of next year to
16 or 60.
16. Sorry.
Okay. No, I was going to say no. That's fine. I thought you said 60 million, which was going to say then Could you imagine having to face the sitting in that board meeting going, so all them consoles we promised and all that profit we said we were going to make?
But 1 million, when you think about it, 1 million consoles not being made, that's still 450 million.
And that's if you're buying them from a reputable retailer.
Yes, so that's a big hit to the board. I don't think they'll be happy. But as Junky says, it's the silicon shortage. It's hitting everything.
It's worldwide, and it's affecting everything from like consoles to electric cars. So it's not like it's just affecting one sort of like part of the ecosystem.
But I'm going to loop back around very quickly and say, obviously, you've got these need for these, these new gen consoles and all that next gen. I mean, stuff like Elden Ring that's going to come out and that. When you see the trailers for it, right, and what it brings and what it's promising to be, and I know Junky, you had a little excited moment before because it essentially for you, it's if Dark Souls had a baby online, pretty much.
It's if Dark Souls married Zelda and then had this amazing little child.
But you're not going to be able to play that if you can't get a console to play it.
Yeah, and luckily. With Microsoft, they had obviously at the beginning of the next gen. They said 2 years, everything's going to be available on all previous gen, and I think that's quite a boon, really. Obviously, third party, you're not going to get an option to Elden Rings off the cards, but then PlayStation, they backtracked, and some of them are available, some are not. It's all up in the air, but yeah, it's just impossible to get hold of anything. So.
Yeah,
it's going to stay that way till 2023.
Yeah, I mean, I had 3 people in a queue for me to get my Xbox Series X last month. 3 people trying to get my Xbox Series X for me in a queue, and the first one to get in, was like, what's the details? That's how much the shortage is affecting people. If they want it, they've got to really get a note.
I was able to pull strings from old retail experience.
Hate incoming in 3, 2.
I've just got the fastest fingers in the West, so I was able to click. I got a PS5 and an Xbox on release.
Son of early development. But I mean, so let's say you are lucky enough to get your hands on the latest hardware, okay? And then you've got all these games you're wanting to play. And then somebody like, I don't know, say Ubisoft comes along and says, that really good first-person shooter you've been enjoying the hell out of? Well, let's absolutely mutilate it with a game mode that nobody asked for. Rainbow Six Extraction. Now, I'm going to throw it over to you two first, because I've had first-hand experience.
Yeah, the only experience I've had was the trailers and then watching a little bit of like Ubisoft Online and, them kind of trying to kind of say, look, you really want this. You want this. Look at this. You want it, don't you? You want it. And the whole time I was like, nobody asked for you.
So I actually went one further than that. I didn't troll them, but I did go onto the Twitter account of Ubisoft and send them a little tweet saying, why is this not Sam Fisher? Why is this not Splinter Cell? Why do you hate your fans? What is this? Like
the listener,
I feel bad. I feel bad because obviously the developers put a lot of time and effort into it, but no one wants it. No one wants it.
Have they though? Have they really?
Well, they probably have. It doesn't take a lot. It takes a lot to make a game, and it's a blatant cash grab. And I feel everyone needs their own little like battle royale type thing.
But the thing is, it's not even battle royale, is it? It's so for those that haven't or seen what Extraction basically is, using the Rainbow Six operators, you will land in one of 3 zones, each progressively getting harder depending where you choose to land. You will go in and try and eliminate some sort of biomutant alien thing. Get the details or whatever mission may preside at that time. So you may be asked to go and get genetic samples of these aliens, which involves you weakening an alien close enough to death, then stabbing it from behind with a specialist knife to get the data, and then trying to get out of there. It could be to defend or recover a hostage. It could be to hack a terminal, or, very similar to the whole plant a bomb, hold a room, get out kind of thing, which is, as we all know, the core mechanic of Rainbow Six Siege.
Mm-hmm.
But then if your operator goes down and dies in there because it's only played in parties of 3, then you lose the ability to use our operator, and you have to go back into the same mission with a different set of operators and try and recover and airlift the operator out. Now, it sounds cool, but when you gunplay, your graphics, the sound, and everything else looks like it's been built on a Rubik's Cube. No, you're not right.
From what I've seen, it looks like it would work as a mobile game. Like,
do you know what?
It might have its niche there, a little cracking control pad. I think it probably would do alright, but not as a next gen title, not at all. It looks like they've just misplaced the demographic completely. It's not got a market.
I think what it was is a couple of years ago they did a Halloween event, didn't they, on Rainbow Six Siege, and that boomed really well because at the time it was very similar the way they'd done it to the Call of Duty Treyarch Zombies, and everybody knows that has now built itself up to be the kind of wave survival game. You know, you want to play that sort of thing, you go and play zombies. And you got the likes of Back 4 Blood and Left 4 Dead and stuff like that. And they are zombie games, yes, you know, Dead Rising, but they're not wave survival zombie games, essentially. And that's what this was trying to be. And again, from first-hand experience on multiple tech tests, when it was called multiple different things. One point it was called Rainbow Six Quarantine, then it was a Rainbow Six Contamination, and then it was, you know, re-rolled the turd glittered that many times. It's still a turd, just a glittery turd.
Well, they released like a time limited game mode a couple of months ago, kind of as a tie into it, and as a game mode, it was fun, but it wasn't. It wasn't what you're saying about, like, you know, going in and it was basically just like one team is like, you know, I can't remember what the name of them is, but you know, the mutants,
Aeons, I think it was
the Aeons.
Aeons.
That was it, Aeons. Yeah. One team's the Aeons and can only use melee. The other team have to go in and basically destroy the nests, right? And as a game mode, it was quite fun, quite tactical, but it's basically as a standalone. No, but they've basically kind of gone, what does Rainbow Six need? And at the bottom of the list was like a zombies type mode, and you've gone, we'll take that. And for something that's, you know, a tactical based shooter where actually, you know, one well placed bullet should be all it needs. You're asking your player base to change their player style entirely to play this game.
See, I can understand why they were trying to do it. Because if you take that sort of tactfulness, ease in slowly, take your time, don't go all guns blazing, which every other zombie game wants you to do. You know, get in calmly, get what you need, get out. I can understand that, right? But not in a Rainbow Six setting. That is the wrong time to do it. Make a complete standalone game.
Yeah,
you've got all the mechanics there. You just slap it with a new coat of paint. Don't fucking nick the palette from Rainbow Six and try and paint by numbers. It ain't gonna work.
I part of me just wonders how much it's a case of, right, if it's got the Tom Clancy name, it'll sell.
But if it's got, I can see what you're saying. If it's got Tom Clancy name, it'll sell. But at the same time, there's so many other properties they could have used that would have suited it better. I mean, a classic example is bloody Far Cry. It's just been released. I know we're going to go into this in a second. They're doing their own sort of standalone thing anyway, but this would have fit the genre much better than Rainbow Six. It does not work.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, if they'd have done something like that where you'd have gone in a group of 3 survivors, rather than Aeons, it was, I don't know, essentially you're trying to escape a camp or something like that. That would have made a hell of a lot more sense. Kind of almost mixed it with Dead by Daylight.
Put a Blood Dragon skin on it. Sold. Gone straight away.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, and nicely into Far Cry, I believe.
I don't know. We're speaking of Far Cry. Like we planned this.
Planned it? Jeez.
Jinkies, yeah. I mean, come on. If you turn around to me and said, right, I want you to give me a list of some of the best villains, antagonists there's ever been in video gaming, pretty much up there has got to be Vass from Far Cry.
Yeah.
Insanity, man. The definition. Love it. Ewok, you smashed the hell out of Far Cry.
Yes. I mean, Far Cry 3, I loved that game. Absolutely loved that game. That's, you know, I don't think they've had a villain like him
No.
before or since.
No,
and
definitely not.
The fact that they've kind of gone, right, you know what? We know what he's like. This is what they think. They've got this right. I actually think they've got this right. You know,
A lot
like,
of things right with Far Cry, I think.
yeah.
Especially the standalone DLC stuff. It's always sometimes better than the actual game itself.
Yeah. But to say, you know what, you guys loved Vast, didn't you? You just loved him. You were meant to hate him, but you loved him. You know, here you go. Have an Insanity roguelike. Apparently, it's like meant to be very roguelike, so die and retry.
Okay.
So
That is interesting.
that's dropping at the time of recording. That is dropping in a few days' time. So 16th of November, I think that is. So it will have dropped by the time you guys are listening to this. But yeah, I mean, I've had a little go of Far Cry 6 when I've been at Junkies, and I've really enjoyed it. So looking forward to see what that's all about, I think.
Just touching on that one very quickly, because I'm sure this is a whole can of worms for another podcast. And guys, again, as I've said before, check out the socials down below. Make sure you're asking us questions that you want to hear the answers to, or you've got things you'd like to hear our opinions on. The reason Vast did so well was because he was so believable. They didn't make him over the top eccentric to the point where nobody would live like that, and they didn't make him so dulled down that you weren't interested in him like most of the super evil characters. It was the fact that made him so realistic, and then kept the insanity within the reality border as well, because at a flick of a switch, he'd go off on one. But you can imagine somebody doing that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it put him up there on the pedestal.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you think about Far Cry 3, you can definitely tell his character had basically his character behaved the way he behaved because he needed to do that to keep control. And that's why it just worked so perfectly. I loved it. I recently rebought Far Cry 3 on an Xbox sale for £2 something, the remastered version, like £2.39 I think it was. I was like, yes, nice. Thank you, I'm having that, because he's a big part of why I love that game so much. So that DLC is exciting.
It'd be very interesting to see how it goes going forward. It feels like it wants to be its own expanded universe. So obviously got Vast now, and the next one will be Pagan Min, who's also very eccentric. And then it'll be, who was after that? It'll be what's his name? John Seed. Yeah, it's John Seed, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it'll be the dictator himself from Far Cry 6. So it's interesting to see where it goes. I'm not sure if I'll buy it, but I am intrigued.
Yeah.
Colour me intrigued.
Moving on, you all know, and if you don't know by now, you should know, that we are a little bit Xbox fanboyish over this side, right? I'll get that clear now. But it doesn't mean that we don't love our PlayStation, Nintendos. Well, I've got my Switch box up there behind me. See, I play all. But this week coming up at the time of recording and release is the Xbox 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
Now, I know that already they've been going nuts with this, because alongside and sort of coinciding with the Xbox 20th anniversary was Halo's 20th anniversary as well. We saw in the Master Chief Collection a whole array of throwback add-ons to the armor as well, including the original Master Chief Gen 1 armor, which I absolutely fell in love with. What else have they got planned?
They've been very kind of vague, I think, in terms of what they are actually going to show. Their tagline is celebrate the past 20 years and look to the next 20. So yeah. I wonder if the next one's going to be like, look back on the last 40 years and look forward to the next 40.
We're going carbon neutral by then, so there'll be no Xboxes.
Yeah.
Power your own dreams in your dreams.
Yeah. The inception of gaming.
The Microsoft chip.
So yeah, no doubt there'll be Halo. No doubt that I mean, Halo and Xbox are so intertwined. You know,
They are one and the same.
They are essentially when it comes to the Xbox gaming space. No doubt there'll be that. I think there'll be. Part of me thinks there'll be a glimpse of what's to come in this generation in terms of like, you know, what we can expect from Game Pass in this generation and stuff like that. But yet they've been very, very vague, which.
So I actually think there's going to be. I might be a bit of a Destiny fan. I might have mentioned this on the podcast once or twice. Obviously, Bungie made Halo. Some of you may not know that if you're new to the genre of the game.
Did they?
So obviously,
Hashtag breaking news.
Destiny also has its anniversary next month.
That's right, yeah.
And it comes out. The anniversary DLC comes out the same day as Halo. So Bungie are bringing out their own anniversary stuff, and there's a bit of a Halo tie-in with Destiny. So I think they've been quite quiet as well. I think something might happen, and I think it's been deliberately kept quiet and vague.
Not gonna lie, I can't unsee the meme of the Halo symbol being the crotch piece from Master Chief's armor. I was like, that's what's going to happen for the 20th anniversary. It's going to be the Destiny logo, and then it's slowly going to fade to green, and he's going to zoom out. Standing there like, what you looking at my crotch for?
Looking at my junk.
But you know what? I don't care. If I get Munda armor for my Titan, I'm gonna need some tea towels to wipe myself down, because I think that would be the perfect crossover for me. It just seems so natural. It should happen.
Yeah, it's got to happen. I mean, so far all they've announced in Destiny is like other vaguer Bungie titles such as Marathon, which I never played. It was probably I didn't even know Bungie was until Halo came out. So I don't know.
Yeah, we know 343 have been working closely with Bungie as well on Halo Infinite.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, the relationship's there. Let's hope that the collab's there as well. That was so cool.
Yeah, but let's steer this back to Xbox and Destiny.
Right, okay. Well, funny enough, now you mentioned Halo, obviously. Now, Halo Infinite will be dropping on Xbox Game Pass on launch day 1, which is December 8th.
Oh, tell me what Game Pass is. It sounds like a really good deal. It sounds like the best deal in game.
Don't blow your load too early. Just hold it.
We'll get there.
But at
Look over
there. Oh, he's Destinied all over the place.
Oh, jeez.
I've fallen.
Oh.
And there's me looking for a glimmer of hope.
Oh. No. Well, I'll be taking that out. Oh, God. Anyway.
I'm trying to... Right. Anyway, just getting back to what I was saying, chat, because these two... Anyway, so, moving forward, as of now, day of recording, day of release, whatever day you want to pick, before December 8th, on Xbox Game Pass, the Halo Infinite multiplayer is installable now. Get it installed.
Yes!
This thing is going to kick the living bejesus out of Warzone. I tell you now. So it will be free to play.
Not hard.
It's going to be free to play multiplayer. You're going to have arena shooting style. So it kills me to say, but Splitgate better watch its back, because half them players might migrate back. It's going to have your big team battles.
Yeah.
It's going to do better big team battles in Call of Duty, but it won't do big team battles like this other game coming out next. And that is, of course, Battlefield 2042.
I thought you were going to say Battletoads. Oh.
No. Now we're talking about Halo being pre-installable. Now, Ewok, when you've quite finished dying.
Yeah, sorry. Over this. Over. I'm still here. Yeah.
Hospital. Patients are reminded to have their wallets at the ready.
Yes.
When you pre-order Battlefield 2042, it will be installable from the 12th as in tomorrow, day of recording, the 11th day, 12th. Okay. Also, for those of you that do own Xbox Game Pass, your 10-hour free trial courtesy of EA Access will also be accessible. Gentlemen, we are 24 hours removed, or before I should say, Battlefield lands. How excited are we?
I can't wait, but it's only... I think the standard edition, you don't get the early access. I might be wrong.
No, you are right. So it was only the medium edition, I think.
So for the next week, I'll be using the 10-hour trial. So I've got to be very, very careful. I'm definitely gonna want to stream it next week at some point. So there's 3 hours of my trial.
You see, I'm gonna be good. I'm just gonna do it.
So
I'm working this weekend, so it's not a big deal.
Well, the likelihood is the Ewoks will be wanting to jump on that with that. So we'll end up probably streaming that one night and having a little bit of fun on that. But I can't wait. I just got to be very careful with that 10-hour trial, because if I was left to my own devices on it, it would probably be gone in a day.
Yeah, I was going to say like a kid.
Definitely going to blow his load in one go.
It would literally be like I'd be mid game and it'd be like, you can buy this now for no. So a couple of hours here and there and a few hours on stream will hopefully like scratch that itch over the next week.
I'm going to be dead controversial. I am going to play my 10 hours and I will stream some of it. But I haven't actually bought it yet, and this 10 hours will.
I haven't bought it yet either.
Yeah, this will be the judgment as whether I actually want to part money with it pre-end of this year, because I've got a feeling that if I can hold out till New Year, it may just iron out some of those bugs that are going to come out on launch day and all the server crashing you're expecting and things. But also as well, I think it's going to give option to utilize some of the stuff that they're coming with it. So, for like we spoke about last week, or I should say the last podcast, Battlefield Portal was advertised that it would come out and you could use certain assets to make your own game modes and your own scenarios and enjoy playing them. What wasn't made clear by EA until you actually went digging deeper was that you had to do all of that on a PC and port a code out to your console version, which then allowed that to basically use that code to say, well, I need to follow this set of rules on this, within these parameters to make what that player wants. If I can hold out until beginning of next year before I actually purchase Battlefield, can you imagine the amount of content that people will have refined and got right by then? And then Portal.
So that's actually the first I've heard of this, and that actually appeals to me much more than the actual game itself. I'll be buying it regardless because I'm in a game share with a friend, so it's my turn. So I've got to get it. But that makes it so much more appealing. I am going to recreate GoldenEye. I'm not, because I'm crap. But if I could...
Okay, so let me explain. Okay, so it's not as open as a map builder, which I think was the big kicker, or like Halo Forge. So you will be given assets. So, for example, you can choose assets from Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 1942, and Battlefield 2042. They are your 4 palettes you can play with. And you can then manipulate it. For example, you can say, I'm going to have 1942 soldiers with Battlefield 3 weapons versus Battlefield 2042 soldiers with only 1942 weapons. And we're going to play it on Caspian border, but I'm going to narrow it down to just the hilltop with the chimney. And then I'm going to say that halfway through the game, once it reaches a certain ticket amount, you will then spawn in 1 vehicle each. And the idea is to try and blow the other team's vehicle up. You can sort of do that with it. I mean, some of the things they teased were defibs versus knives. All about that.
I was going to say, what about slappers on the rooftop?
All that sort of thing.
I did see a clip earlier on Twitter for someone who'd been allowed the early access using Portal, and they were playing a game mode where actually they had to jump 5 times to reload the rocket launchers. So it was like everyone with rocket launchers and they're just bouncing around, like trying to reload them and then fire off.
Fortnite then, yeah.
And it's just, but it's like, you know, but like you can do your really serious kind of game modes, but if you kind of think, you know what, we're just gonna have a laugh tonight, we're just gonna make some ridiculous rules and we're gonna go with it and just see how much fun or content we can make.
Red light, green lights definitely get made in it.
Oh, well, that's it. Yeah. Oh, the other one as well we saw was the all destruction robots. You know, the little engineer robot versus one tank. 99 versus 1.
It's basically like a battle sim version of was it the totally real battle simulator you can get?
Totally accurate battle simulator.
That's the one, yeah. Totally.
Yeah, but which is also available on Game Pass, which leads us nicely into, I suppose, the pre-segue. We'd be idiots if we didn't say about this part, and that is the fact that along with all these AAA titles that are dropping and everything, the first of the major quadruple A titles has dropped, and that was Forza Horizon 5. Gentlemen, I'm still in a puddle of my own mess because every time I play that game, oh my word,
I'm in love. What? I dropped out the plane the first time, and the moment I hit the accelerator, I was in love. It was just like, oh man. The other week I streamed Forza Horizon 4 with the Ewoks, and as I was playing it, I kind of realised that it'd probably be the last time we streamed it for a while. And I was thinking to myself, how did they improve on this? The car models were gorgeous. The surroundings were gorgeous. The racing, the handling was brilliant. And I was like, how is Forza Horizon 5 gonna top this?
And Forza Horizon 5 came in and went, hold my beer.
Yeah.
It pretty much.
It didn't just say hold my beer, it just smashed up the whole bar and went, this is how you do it.
Yeah, pretty damn much.
Yeah.
And there are very few things in the gaming world that get me this hyped. Obviously, Halo and Battlefield are two of them. But actually, like, really get me going. One of the standout things for me has and always will be the opening sequence to Forza Horizon 1. It was the soundtrack they picked. It was the graphics of seeing it for the first time. It was coming straight in the latest sports car, flooring it, wide open road, and just going, this is awesome. And then that little sudden cutaway, and you realise that that's what you can achieve, and this is where you are now. And it was like you say, the soundtrack changed up to reflect it, and then there was that whole bull rush to the actual get to the festival, and the first 20 people got in the festival. Of course, it kind of rigged, so you always got in.
Yeah.
That was amazing. I didn't think they could improve on that. And every time with each Forza Horizon, they've kind of just made it a bit better and a bit better and a bit better. And then I dropped out the plane and something else dropped out of me and I had to tidy that up, and then I carried on playing it. But this was all on stream as well. Right. And I think one of my viewers nailed it, Dan. He said, the walls are there not for bouncing off. You know that, right? I was bouncing off the wall. I was screaming down the mic. I was like, well, the ADHD in me came out, I won't lie. I loved every second. I'm loving every second, and I will love every second. My partner has a new contender.
Yeah, well, you asked me, because obviously I've been playing it since last Friday. You asked me the other day what I thought of it. And I said these words to you, it's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And that was the best way I could describe it. It is an absolute masterpiece. Like, that first drop out of the plane, I honestly thought, this is a nice cutscene. And then all of a sudden, I'm driving the car, and I was like, oh, crap. You know, I honestly thought there was going to be some sort of cutaway, and then I was going to be behind the wheel. Because it looked that good. Like, the volcanoes on the side, and I'm just like, wow, that looks photorealistic. You know, that looks amazing.
Yeah.
There's going to be some sort of cut. Some very smooth hidey of, you know, we're now in gameplay, but you didn't really notice. But actually, it was just so smooth, and all of a sudden I was like, hang on. I am driving
this is all gameplay, yeah. There's no cutscene about it.
Yeah, it's utterly beautiful. So, somehow they've made the car models look nicer than Forza Horizon 4. I don't know how. I don't know what wizardry they're doing over there.
Playground games, man. They've
they're just go to a fine art.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't say much about it because I've not played it, and I probably won't play it if I'm being honest. The only thing that really appeals to me about the game is the labs mode, and again, that's what was revealed. It's sort of like the Battlefield, using your own things to make your own games. That appeals to me, but the actual game itself, not my cup of tea. So I'm happy to let you use fangasm all over it.
Okay, well, we are only 2 people that downloaded this game. On launch day, the 9th of December, 2021, 800,000 people bought a £35 premium package, which A, gave them the game early, B, unlocked cars for them, C, gave them not 1, but 2 expansions on launch when they decided to launch them, and also gave them VIP status, which means they have right priority into the PvP, they have increased rates on earnings, on the money, on the rep, on everything. 800,000 people chose to spend money on a free game.
Yeah.
They've got to be doing something right.
And I was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also with that, you got a credit for the... I didn't realise this at the time, got a credit for the auto show. So there's a car there worth 30 million credits. And I was like, I'm not saving up for that, so I just used this token to buy it. But yeah, nice. so you could instantly get a good car for your collection as well. Just like a top end sports car or something. But yeah, I was one of those people that spent the money. And when you think about that, as you say, that game is free.
Yeah,
the game's free. I mean, yeah, you'd have to buy the DLC.
For me, what that says to me as a consumer is, for all those naysayers that once said Xbox Games Pass is unviable, why would you buy games if you're going to get them day and day on release on an Xbox title? There you go.
Yeah,
people are always going to buy games on the day, even if they have it, because people like to own the game itself.
I think the other thing as well is, and it's a big thing. I mean, at time recording, Xbox has just recorded 5 million players of Forza Horizon 5. It has now become the #1 launched game on Xbox ever. It's surpassed Halo. It's surpassed all the previous Forzas. It's surpassed the likes of I can't even think of the other exclusive Gears of War. Sorry, and all that. These are Xbox's own AAA titles, and when you think about it, there's always the age-old fanboy argument: what was better, Gran Turismo or Forza?
I was about to get on to that. I'd actually like to see the data, like now. What's better? If there's any way of analyzing what's better, because like a lot of people I speak to have been diehard sort of like PlayStation fans or diehard Gran Turismo fans now actually turn around and say, I think as a sim racer, Forza itself's better. Obviously, Horizon is the less sim version, but that's the best thing about Playground and Forza. Really, it has those different modes. Gran Turismo doesn't have that.
No, you're right. I think obviously for those that aren't uncultured in the world of Forza Motorsport, the Forza Motorsport series, so just Forza Motorsport, are your standard track-based races, whereas the Forza Horizon are the open world races, a bit like the old Need for Speed Underground, and everybody loved that. And I think again that's kind of what's accredited to the remake. That's kind of what's accredited to the popularity of these games, is the fact that they took a formula that was working, and when Sony and everyone else decided to bin it off, Playground Games scooped it up.
Yeah, I think as well when you come back to the numbers, 5 million people playing day one, and Junky saying, people saying, "Oh, Game Pass isn't viable," Let's just, I did the maths earlier. I'm not going to pretend I'm going to do the maths over my head. I did the maths earlier, right?
Should we just get it out the way? We'll kick the door open to the next section anyway.
Right. Well, just quickly on Forza, and then we'll smack the doors in. But I did the math earlier. Forza Motorsport, the Forza Horizon 5, right? Let's say those 800,000 only bought the premium bundle and not the actual full premium game. I know people who've got Game Pass who bought the actual premium game because they want to support thingy even more.
Yeah.
But let's just pretend they bought just the premium add-on.
Right,
And
so
you've got 5 million.
Clarify with that as well. The premium add-on only gave you those add-ons to use with Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah.
It didn't give you the right to own Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah.
So you're paying £35 to add on to a free game.
Yeah.
Not to own that game.
So 800,000 did that, and 5 million people are playing. If you attribute 5 million people playing, all playing through Game Pass alone, and the add-on bundles, in one weekend, Forza has made around about 70 to 80 million quid.
Oh, that's blockbuster money, though.
It's crazy money.
I'm a P-Bob. Sorry.
And that's people who would have just bought Game Pass to play Forza when it dropped.
Yeah.
Maybe.
See, for me, Forza has done so many things right. We'll finish off there. I'm a big fan of the whole decal editing, the graphics editing, just the simple things like bringing a mask layer. So when you're doing your designs, you can unmask certain parts of shapes out to give you what you actually want. I finally got my Volio gaming logo on the car looking mint, exactly how I want
Nice.
it. I'm over the moon.
Nice.
Ewok, I know you were a fan of the accessibility you've built on.
Oh, yes, yeah. So a lot of people, if you watch my Game Pass review streams and stuff like that, I always talk about accessibility, playing the game, whatever difficulty setting you enjoy it at, or what that you're capable of playing at. Some people love going full insanity mode and really test themselves. Other people just can't do that for whatever reason. But for the first time ever, they've actually allowed people to play the game offline. But, you can play the game offline anyway, but they've added an option that you can do when you're offline to slow the speed of the game down. So if you, for whatever reason, it could be mental, it could be physical, whatever's been holding you back from being able to race those 250-mile-an-hour cars, actually you can do it now. You can slow it right down, and the physics act exactly the same, but the game is playing out much slower, so that gives you the chance to react and play those games. And I've already seen some people on Twitter who kind of been like, this is the first time I've been able to play these games the way they're meant to be played, with these super fast cars. And it's brilliant what they've done. Fantastic.
Xbox have always been a massive champion of this whole accessibility thing, and it's something I can honestly get behind. Working in the industry again, in the past, we used to have the Game Changers fundraisers, where the companies would donate and hold 24-hour streams and things like that, and all the money would go to these charities that then adapt and build and manipulate controllers for anybody to use them. And Microsoft came out with that whole accessibility controller that it looked like a giant deck. It was just a D-pad and the buttons, and then you could buy the separate buttons to add on.
Plug loads of stuff in.
Exactly, and it's superb that the fact they're giving everybody a chance to play those same games and enhance and enjoy that experience.
Yeah.
And obviously, to really enjoy the experience, we know they're going to want Game Pass. So,
yeah.
Let's get into it, because I'm keeping one eye on the time. We've spent a lot of time on the news here, gents.
I know it's a lot of news this week, but it's okay.
So we're only going to go with the one main subject, okay? You're going to hear us beat this till it's dead donkey, but it's the truth. The argument on the block at the moment is that Game Pass is by far the best live service for money, okay? So what we thought we'd do is we'd look around and we'd look at the contenders. So first and foremost, you've got PlayStation, okay? So PlayStation have two options. Their first option is PlayStation Live, sorry, let me get it right, PlayStation Plus. There you go. So PlayStation Plus is the live subscription-based service which enables a player to be in a party and play multiplayer online games with their friends. But running alongside that, they also have another service called PlayStation Now. Now, PlayStation Now is Sony's cloud subscription service, okay? And it offers hundreds of PS4, PS3, PS2, and PS1 titles, all playable up to the PS5. And in some cases, you can actually play it on PC as well. Now, with these, obviously, comes the price tag. So for PlayStation Plus, your membership could either be $6.99 a month or $49.99 a year. With your PlayStation Now, it's £8.99 a month or $39.99 a year. I'm going to throw it over to the other competition, into the red corner, Mr. Junky. Stop stroking your mushroom on stream.
I may or may not be a big Nintendo fan.
Who's a Nintendo fan?
Yeah, so Nintendo have 2 subscriptions as well. Nintendo, we already spoke about it earlier on. It's a contentious subject because they rely on their fan base's loyalty to Nintendo every generation. I'm a stupid person because I buy every game over and over again.
Like throw the line out.
On the Switch, they have two options. So we'll talk about the first one first. You've got Nintendo Online. That includes your cloud-based saves. Why that isn't included without having to pay for it yearly is beyond me. So you get your cloud-based saves. You get NES and SNES games, the most popular ones. So your Mario All-Stars, your Donkey Kongs, all that jazz. And then you get a few discounts on the Nintendo store. Not much. I mean, it's like 5%. So that comes to £17.99 for the year. There is a monthly fee, but it's minimal. For £17.99 a year, you may as well just get the yearly one.
Yeah, the one off.
Yeah.
So that's the online version. But unlike all the other competitors, that will only get you one Switch profile. So there's the catch. You need to buy the family version if you've got multiple kids, and because the Switch is a kid-friendly console, and you're going to have multiple people in the house playing it, you need to buy the family version. So the family version is £31.49. That's up to eight devices for the year.
See, that kind of brings it within normality or remit of what you'd normally expect for an annual subscription service. But then the ability to have it on 8 separate devices, that's interesting. That kind of brings it maybe up a little bit above PlayStation in that sense, because obviously with the PlayStation, you can have it similar to the way Xbox works, where you have a home PlayStation, but as long as you have the subscription active registered to your account, you can go to other devices, log in with it, and play it through there.
So the other caveat that they've just added in quite recently is the Nintendo Expansion Pass, which is £34.99 for the year, or £59.99 for the year for the family for 8 devices. So what you get with the expansion pass, you get Nintendo 64 games. So you're getting your Zelda, you're getting your Mario 64, you're getting your Ocarina of Time, you're getting your Majora's Mask, you're getting Lilac Wings, Star Fox 64, and quite a few other titles. And similar to the SNES and the NES titles of the online service, they'll keep adding to that service. My only gripe with that, I've already bought these games on previous generations. I bought it for the SNES, I bought it for the NES, I bought it for my GameCube, I bought it for my Wii, I bought it for my Switch. So collectively, I've paid probably about £500 for 10 copies of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and now I've got to pay £59 a year to play Zelda Ocarina of Time, and I don't even get to keep it.
Yeah, that's the big kicker there.
So that's the sort of the big red-shaped mushroom in the room.
I think with Nintendo, a lot of those games are like, if you're like huge fans of the games, you're gonna play them, but a lot of them you're probably gonna pick up maybe once. And
unless it's your AAA titles, your Mario titles, or what else? You know what I mean? Like your Star Fox titles or your Smash Brothers or things like that. Yeah, you are very limited to what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, and if you're a casual gamer that's picked up a Switch, I don't think that's going to appeal to you.
No.
So something that did appeal to me, I thought, that's quite good. And the devil will be in the detail on this one. So for the first time, you can play Mario Kart 64 wirelessly online, and I thought, wow, bloody hell, that's great. So all these multiplayer games from that you do couch co-op, you play 4 players with, you can now play online on the Switch. So that's really good. But devil in the detail, only with 2 Switches. So I could only play Mario 64 with Ray.
What?
That kind of defeats the object, doesn't it?
I was literally just thinking 16-player GoldenEye. Then that'd have been freaking epic.
Yeah.
And then you just went and kicked me in the.
It kind of does defeat the object, doesn't it?
At time of writing, it's limited to two consoles playing. And I'm not even sure that that's online or LAN, or like not LAN, not
Right.
on the same Wi-Fi network.
Same network, yeah.
I'm going to ask then, here's a question, okay, because here's something the PlayStation Plus offers. Very similar to Xbox. Do you get free games every month with it?
You do, yeah, you do.
So what do you get with your Nintendo then? Are they normally AAA titles? Are they...
So with Nintendo, you're getting back catalogue games. You're getting the
Okay.
Nintendo library
Right.
with the expansion. And so with the online, like I said, you're getting the SNES and the NES games, and with the expansion, you're getting the N64. And imagine that will eventually go on to GameCube, maybe.
Okay.
The big one, I think
Bit
this
of
is the
Luigi's
selling point for a
Mansion.
lot. I think this is the selling point for a lot of people. Really, is with this expansion pass, they got the DLC to Animal Crossing, which was the biggest selling Nintendo game of last year. Which
Okay.
obviously that was buoyed along by lockdown. Everyone wanted to go out, and what better
Yeah.
way to go out than to have your own New Horizon Island?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, for PlayStation, you do get free games every month. They are your PlayStation Plus games, and you get 2 of them. And they are actually normally really good. So I'll give you an example of what's been in the past. So the entire Red Dead Redemption 2 was given away on PlayStation Plus quite early on. In fact, you've had the Uncharted collection on there as well.
Yeah.
You've had the entire Tomb Raider saga go on there as well, and including Star Wars Fallen Jedi. All those have been available free if you're paying your subscription to download and keep. Now that is okay, because when you compare it to Game Pass, well, I say Game Pass, when you compare it to Xbox Live,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
it's
get
much
4
better.
games with Xbox Live,
But
but
they
of which
usually-
those 4 games, 3 of them probably you never heard of, and you never thought you'd own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It once in a blue moon with
Yeah.
Xbox Live, you get a little bit of a gem that comes up in games for gold.
Yeah. The only thing, like, on the games of gold side of it is, like, on PlayStation Plus, you need your PlayStation Plus active at all times to play both of those games.
Mhm.
Games with gold, the Xbox One and newer titles, you need games with gold to be active to play them. But the 360 and original Xbox titles that they give just get added to your library.
Yeah.
So you can still play them even if your games with gold runs out. It's just like the Xbox One titles and beyond that you still need the active thing. So they've got that side of it, but as you say, the games that PlayStation Plus offers generally, the last year I would say, have been of better quality. Consistently.
I think that's because of Games Pass. It's competing against itself. Xbox is competing against itself in that sense, and obviously that's why moving forward, Xbox Live or Gold is being phased out very ham-handedly, as we saw like in the beginning of the year. But it is happening. I'll say one more thing for the Blue Room as well for PS. Outside of the PS Now and PS Live or PS Plus, they have the PS Collection. So if you're lucky enough, fortunate enough to get PS5, you will get probably 10 of the best games from that generation free. So Days Gone, Bloodborne, Uncharted. I'm trying to think what else is on there. So that would for me that was a big thing when I got my PS5. I was like, oh, I've got these games. Someone had already done, someone hadn't. And it was really good. It was a nice little boost. Whether they go forward and keep adding to that collection, who knows?
We all know if they're going to do it, there needs to be one game added in there that would absolutely swing it the PlayStation way. That's the Last of Us series, you know what I mean?
I thought you were going to say Spider-Man when you said swing it.
That
was a great segue that you just completely meffed up.
No. Spider-Man, no, I'm sorry, but even as
swinging its way in.
As an Xbox fanboy, swinging a bat. The Last of Us is probably one of the best games ever made, and it's Sony exclusive, so I'd expect to see it on that collection.
I can't remember if it's actually on there.
Yeah.
However, let's put our green mitts on and fight for the green corner now. I think it's only fair. But we'll be fair here. We'll kind of put one hand behind our back as well, because it is a little bit of an unfair fight.
I'll tell you what.
Xbox Game Pass. I don't know how many times we can or cannot say this. If you have an Xbox and you do not own Xbox Game Pass, you're a freaking idiot. And I'm putting that nicely. Please don't take offense. It's for your best interest.
Yeah.
Okay, there are 3 sets or 3 tiers of subscription with Xbox. Your Xbox Live, then just Game Pass, then Game Pass Ultimate. Me, I subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate. I pay £7 a month. £10.99 a month. For that, I get to share that with my partner because most Xbox players now know how to do the game shareability. If you don't, hit me up on a tweet. We'll talk you through it. And then what happens is 2 of you feed off the one Xbox Live, but 2 of you also own every digital game that you own. So if I suddenly then say, well, here's a Netflix-sized library of games that you can go and play at your own leisure. Oh, and also all these AAA titles that are coming out. Well, because they're made by this developer, we'll let you try them for 10 hours as well to see if you actually like them. I'm struggling here to find the cons.
Yeah,
it's all pros.
It's a ridiculous subscription service. I went on earlier. I was sad, I'll be honest. I went on earlier on console. So not even looking at Game Pass for PC. Just on console, I went to see all and counted how many games were on Game Pass for console.
At this moment.
Have a guess.
Right, go on, because I'm considering they rotate out monthly, and it's usually 5 to 8 drop out and 5 to 8 come in. I'm going to say about 60.
No. 422.
What?
422 games in the full library, including the EA Play games that you can look at.
Of course, yeah.
I always forget about EA Play.
So there were six games across, and about 70 lines down. It was ridiculous. Wow. I didn't realise 420. Yeah, a lot of that's going to be shovelware. I was looking for the word earlier, and that reminded me of us. A lot of them are going to be shovelware. You're not going to play a lot of them. But as you say, first party titles just dropping in straight away. Forza.
It's worth it just for the first party titles. Like my friend was talking about the other day. He's got PC Games Pass, and he was like, he bought. He didn't buy. He got Gears 5. And then obviously he got Gears Tactics, and I can't remember else. He got another game, and he was like, "Well, that's my £100 for the year." Or it's not even £100 on PC; it's even cheaper.
Yeah, like £9.
He was like, "That's my subscription paid for." And because they are first party titles, they're never going to leave the service. All first party titles will remain on the service indefinitely.
Yeah.
Well, me, for example, I played Halo 1, played Halo 2, had it bought for me as a Christmas present. Well, it was still $59.99 in the shops. I remember waiting up on a midnight launch and going to Halo 3 launch, paying me £45 then. Halo 4 dropped. I was working in the retail business. I pre-ordered my £84 copy. Halo 5 dropped. I pre-ordered my statue copy, which was £120. Halo Reach came out. I blew my little load again and maxed out my credit card. Halo 3 ODST came out. I fell in floods of tears of love. Paid me £60. Went about my way. And then we got with the Halo of Infinite. And by this point, chat, Game Pass. And I'm just sat here with this ear-to-ear Cheshire Cat grin going, I own it all.
Yeah. And I played, you spent all that money on Halo, rightly so, it's such an amazing franchise, but I got to play all of that for free this year. You know what I mean? That's the I got to discover what the big deal about Halo was without spending any more than I normally spend out.
Yeah.
And go on, mate.
I was going to say, let's not forget they've had some standout third party titles they managed to scoop up as well. So I actually pre-ordered Outriders, and then I pre-ordered Outriders rather rapidly.
Well, speaking of that,
got that on Games Pass, completed that.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, like I was looking at the end of this year in terror. Like 4 of the games that I wanted to play, I knew that 2 of them were dropping into Game Pass, Halo and Forza. But then I was looking at possibly having to spend 120 to 140 quid that I haven't really got on Battlefield and Back 4 Blood. Because I knew I was going to get all 4 of those games, regardless of how I was going to. And then Back for Blood dropped day 1 in Game Pass. So now I only have to worry about Battlefield. And even then, I get 10% off it because I'm buying it because it's.
And you get 10 hours to actually try it.
Yeah.
Make sure you do want to buy it.
Yeah,
and it's not even like it hurts developers either, because a lot of small developers will get noticed more through Games Pass.
Yeah, I was going to say there's been a few little gems that have come through Game Pass, to be fair. They started on Games Pass and like Games Preview as well. So one of them little gems, I mean, in my eyes at least anyway, is Ark Survival Evolved. It started on the PC. It went into Game Pass. Part of the Game Preview, Game Pass kind of hybrid they had for that while.
Yeah.
And then it did go into Game Pass fully. I have spent easy hundreds of hours on Ark because it was such a good game for what it was. And then more recently discovered Atlas again, which was on the preview. Now, admittedly, that isn't on the Game Pass, but it's the same developers. But because I'd fallen in love with Ark, playing it through Game Pass, I knew naturally I wanted to progress onto Atlas.
Yeah.
But there's other things as well. You look at Game Pass and you're thinking, like, myself, I'm very into the American sports games, which, let's be honest here, the monopoly is owned by EA.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't have to worry every year because I know I'm going to get 10 hours of me Madden, 10 hours of me NHL. Maybe, if I'm lucky, one of the previous NBA 2Ks will drop in there from 2K. And then the MLB, the show for the first time this year, ever,
that was a big one.
Off the PlayStation, straight onto Xbox Game Pass day 1.
Yeah, that was a big one. That was a big coup for, I mean, more so for Xbox fans the other side of the water. But obviously for baseball fans over this side as well.
I mean, to segue from that,
brilliant.
It shows how silly the console war actually is and how deeply aligned the actual people behind it all. So, like, your CEOs of Microsoft are actually talking to other developers and actually helping each other behind the scenes. So MLB The Show has always been a PlayStation exclusive. Coming to Xbox and going to Games Pass was a massive olive branch.
Yeah.
And the same can be said for Crunchyroll. Was recently bought by Sony, and that's now that's now a perk on Xbox. You get 75 days of premium Crunchyroll on Games Pass.
Got to catch up with that Dragon Ball, man.
Obviously, Sony have just bought heavily into Discord, but then you can get Discord Nitro perks on Games Pass, Disney Plus perks on Games Pass.
Yeah.
Everything's so interwoven. Everyone thinks like, oh, PlayStation hates Xbox. They don't. We don't even hate PlayStation. I love PlayStation.
Yeah,
it's just jovial rivalry.
Yeah, I think with PlayStation, where they've got it wrong, and with PlayStation now, I mean, they got it wrong on a couple of sides. I think one is it's a cloud based, so it's streaming. Yeah, streaming one is where you got it wrong. But
see, that's something we haven't even touched on with Game Pass yet, but we'll go into it in a minute.
But could you imagine if I own a PS4? I like playing my games on PS4, but I wanted to play God of War, and it was in PS Now, and I was like, I don't want to stream it. And then I picked it up for £8 in a sale the other week, and now I own it. I would have paid £8 to try and stream that.
Yeah.
But could you imagine if God of War, Days Gone, Last of Us, if they dropped Spider-Man Miles Morales, if they dropped day one onto PlayStation Now?
Yeah, exactly. I think then you'd have a pound for pound heavyweight battle. But right now, it's a bit
no contest.
Outweighed. No, it isn't. Mm-hmm. The other thing as well, we touched on it there. Now, I know PlayStation have got the gimmick in this. I call it a gimmick. I'm sorry, I really shouldn't. But in my eyes, it was the PlayStation VR. It was entry-level VR. It was put out to try and draw in people to the VR, knowing then naturally progress onto the HTC Vive and the Oculus Rift and stuff. I haven't seen anything from PSVR since God knows when, but I've seen the Vive and the Rift develop.
Yeah.
Now, it was great for silly little gimmicky titles, the same way that the Kinect was for the Xbox, the whole camera thing, the iToy. We've had many iterations of it. But that's what PlayStation leaned into on their pass, buy all this, buy the pass, and we'll give you this VR game shiny as well with it as well.
Yeah.
And you kind of think, oh, no, maybe it is worth the money because the VR games are a little bit more than the other ones. Xbox came along and went, you're doing it all wrong. That AAA title you just bought and you're downloading on your console and you're playing and then you've got to stop and go to work. What if we give you the ability to carry on playing that exact same save on your mobile device on the bus on the way to work?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's a knockout. If you haven't utilized cloud-based service from Microsoft, I mean, this is the beauty of it, guys. They've now got it so that you can stream the game and play it while it's installing in the background on your console. So I know, big shout out to another streamer friend of ours, Pete Banana 14. Banana recently decided that he wanted to install a game. I can't remember exactly what it was. And he didn't have the time to install it. So the agreement was like, he kind of went through and discovered that he could stream the game via Xbox Game Pass while it was installing onto his console in the background. And he was able to get in on the ground with all the rest of the lads at the start and develop his levels and play up rather than having to wait around and do the whole install, which would take them a couple of hours. I'm not seeing PlayStation do that. I'm sorry. I know you can play some part of the way, like you can with Xbox once it reaches a certain point in the installation, but it's not going to let you do it off the bat.
No. I think they really... Sorry, go on, John. Go on.
No, go on. You go where you go.
I was going to say, I think that's... Microsoft have really pushed that cloud-based side of stuff. I was in the betas, like the Android and the iOS betas, and just seeing it in the early stages was amazing. Just like, I can pick up a game any point, anywhere, on a bus. As long as I've got a signal, I can play that game. And that was like...
That's been one of my highlights away on the family camping holiday this year, the annual camping holiday, playing a bit of Gears 5 while I sat in the woods.
Yeah. And you didn't have to take a console and a generator.
Killed me battery and me data, but I did it.
Yeah.
And of course, you now buy clips, so you take your Bluetooth controller with you and attach an attachment that lets you sit your phone in a cradle, and you have an all-in-one gaming system.
Yeah.
Modern day Game Boy.
So I think I'm going to put it out there. I think I'm probably more of an authority figure on the world of streaming. I've been interested in it for quite a while, and I've dabbled in quite a few services now. So I played Stadia.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was quite terrible.
We found him.
I think it's gone better. I think it's got a lot better. I think where they went wrong is announcing it as a fully fledged service rather than like as xCloud has come out as a beta, a complete work in progress, and it's scaled up. Now they've gone from the Xbox One S blades to the Xbox One X blades, and now it's running off an Xbox Series X data server. So it's scaled up gradually, and it's always been a beta the whole time. It's always been a beta, and still is in a beta like period. So Stadia never did that, and obviously Stadia has recently more or less collapsed in itself. It's still a service, but they're not going to be producing any homegrown talent. I got GeForce Now the other week, and I wanted to play. So GeForce Now is a bit different. You have it again, like Stadia. It's not a service where you get games given to you. You basically stream your games that you own. So I'll stream my games from Steam. So I wanted to play downstairs. I wanted to play Divinity on my iPad. I thought I'll get GeForce Now because it's got cross save. And it was 2,000 in a queue. You're gonna have to wait 20 hours to play an hour of your game. I went, well, that's not viable.
What?
Yeah, no.
I went, that's not viable. So I looked at it and it was like, you can upgrade to a full rig and you'll have no waiting times and you'll be able to stream 200, I think it was 164 frames per second straight away. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I'll give it a go. So I got the next premium package, which was £8 a month. And I played the first time and thought, well, this is pretty good. This is on parity with xCloud in terms of latency. It's pretty good. I went to play it the next day and it wouldn't launch any more games. So I've wasted £8.
Oh.
But then they were like, you can join the queue to get on the beta program to play on a 3080 rig with up to 260 frames per second.
No, you're all right.
And I was like, well, if it's not working on this rig, why is it going to work on that rig? Yeah,
Exactly.
it's going to work better visually. It's going to look nicer. But the streaming technology is not there, obviously. It doesn't work.
Obviously, one of the perks as well with the Xbox Game Pass is you get the PC games in with the Ultimate Edition as well, which is a whole different kettle of fish. So then you get access to some of those AAA titles that may have been built primarily for console, but now you're getting them on the PC. So again, Forza on the PC, Gears 5 on the PC look absolutely stunning, handle smooth as butter. And let's not forget, guys, you're already paying it for your console that's sat on the main telly, and now you can play the same thing on your rig.
Plus, today, which we didn't bring up in the news, Microsoft have also said if you're playing on PC, you can now download and install that game to your personal folder and install mods.
Yeah, so instead of dictating...
Which is a game changer. That's the whole...
Yeah,
if you get a PC to play games, it's because you want to play mods.
Yeah. Well, yeah, instead of dictating, right, it's got to go on your C drive, it's got to go on your primary drive, you can now pick whichever drive you want. So for me, my C drive is much smaller because it's mainly a boot drive and a little bit of storage. I put everything on my D drive, so I'll get to move my games over to there and they can live there happily. And I've got plenty of space. But yeah, mods.
Yeah, mods is a big thing. Guys, I think if we haven't put an argument over enough by now, why Xbox Ultimate Game Pass is probably the best thing since sliced bread, then you quite obviously a fanboy and it's falling on deaf ears. Fair enough. You do you, we'll do us. But we're advising you now, if you own an Xbox, you should be on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. If you have a PC, you'll be getting every penny of its worth. And if you have the ability to stream those games as well, then you're utilising everything to its best.
Hang on, stop. I've just checked my bank account and Phil's not wired that money across, so Xbox is actually crap.
Wait.
PS now.
No, we aren't endorsed by Xbox or PlayStation or Nintendo. But if any of them are watching,
yeah,
hey Phil.
That's the thing, guys. We're always. This episode's kind of going to feel like, we're pro Xbox Pro. Of course we are. We do like the Xbox, but more than that, we're pro gaming.
Yeah.
And I've got the Xbox. I've got the PlayStation. I've got my PC. I've got a GameCube and a Wii hidden around somewhere. I've played on pretty much every iteration of gaming, and we just want to make sure you guys understand that we're just going to be honest. Mm. We're going to be brutally honest. And
if Bloodborne 2 gets announced, Xbox is dead to me, by the way.
We say this, myself and Ewok have worked in the retail business, in a specialist retailer in our past. And this is one of the things that we used to get in trouble for, because we talk honestly with customers, because we were customers ourselves. We know what we wanted. And I know Spotty Dog's massively doing it now. Big shout out to Ricky there. He stopped people pre-ordering Forza Horizon 5 and told them to go and buy Xbox Ultimate Game Pass. And now they're coming back in, keeping that retail business going, because he knows what he's on about. He's built a rapport with them. And now, rather than buying £40-50 games, they're buying £40-50 worth of credit and subscription to keep the current live going. At the end of the day, guys, again, do not take anything we say as gospel. This is our own opinion. We're each entitled to our own opinion. If you want to listen to it, great, fine, take it on board.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Yep. And on that bombshell,
it's the end of another council meeting.
It is time to exit the chambers, and gentlemen, I've got a date in Mexico.
Same here.
Order!
Oh, go on then, call it to a close, Junky.
Meeting adjourned. Dun dun dun.
Enjoy, guys, and we'll see you.
Take care, guys. Thank you very much.
Take care, everyone.